RevelatorAlf.
Now, the next topic I wanted to discuss is the Sport Glide. Harley Davidson Sport Glide, as you know, that's the bike that I ride, and also whether it is the stepping stone, if you like, to the Street Glide. Now, I must own up here. I must admit a little bit of fact finding that I've been doing this week. I popped into the local Harley dealership, and I've been a big fan of the Street Glide for a long time. I've been doing a little bit of research on it. I've been interested in it, but I've always said, and I think I've said this repeatedly on previous videos and podcasts and things like that, I just don't think it would fit in with my riding world and my riding lifestyle. That's why I think the Sport Glide for me is the perfect choice, and it still is the perfect choice. But here's an interesting thought. Of all the times where I thought it would be great just to take the bags off, the panniers off my Sport Glide, and take the fairing off and have that completely different look, I never do it. I've probably done it once or twice since I've owned the bike, and once was purely just to go and make a video, and the other one was purely just to have a little bit of a different feel to the bike. But actually, I kind of tend to ride with the fairing on, and I tend to ride with the panniers all the time, and the reason is because I'm always tend to be carrying stuff or using it as my utility bike, which I kind of, use my bikes that way. I mean, I'm always going here, there, and everywhere. I'm always carrying things, whether it's camera gear, it could be anything. So, having a bike naked, it doesn't really suit my kind of riding. Now, that's not to say it wouldn't, but I do appreciate the versatility. So with that in mind, I kind of think, well, actually, would a bagger type motorcycle been better for me? My last bike, I had the Triumph Explorer, the adventure bike. I always had the boxes on there because, again, I was always carrying stuff. Now, granted, it wasn't the side boxes, the pannier, it was more the top box. But occasionally, I'll go with the panniers as well. So I've been looking at the Street Glide as to say, well, actually, what kind of a ride is it? What kind of a bike is it? And I went in there, I spoke to the dealership, and we discussed a few options, and not to buy, just to go and test ride it. And we kind to the agreement that possibly the best thing for me to do would be to take this out for a few hours, maybe a day, something like that. I think I may even push it for a weekend or a couple of days. See what kind of arrangement we can get, just to get a really good feel for it. Now, it's funny enough, it wouldn't really be about the getting to know the bike, because I think I can figure out a bike very quickly. It's more about the silly little things, about getting it in and out of the garage, about riding to your usual places. How does it feel on the particular roads that you ride, on the twists, on the back roads, on the motorways, how that feels to you. Now, interesting, this wouldn't be a replacement for my Sport Glide. I don't have that in mind. I'm not going to get rid of my Sport Glide. If any of you are wondering, oh my God, don't do it, Alf, don't do it. No, it's nothing like that. It's mainly whether I would think about in the future about getting a Street Glide, whether I like the big Tourer, which I'm not convinced I would, although I do find them quite appealing. I think if I lived in another part of the world, which had big open roads and a lot more space, I think I'd be very interested in it to a certain degree. But I still think the Sport Glide is a better suit for me.
RevelatorAlf.